Literally witnessed two things. We witnessed Caitlin Clark once again cementing herself as the demon of the WNBA. Flashes of 2024 and Iowa last night, while literally trying to pull the entire team along on her back because of an awful head coach named Stephanie White.
There is a breaking point in every major sports franchise. A specific moment in time where the absolute boiling point is reached. The patience of a fiercely loyal fan base completely evaporates, and the entire organization is forced to look in the mirror and face the catastrophic reality of their own making. For the Indiana Fever, that moment did not happen when the final buzzer sounded on their devastating home loss. That moment happened inside the press conference room and on the sidelines when the entire world was finally given undeniable visual proof of a toxic double standard that is actively tearing this team apart. Welcome back, this is WNBA Pro, and today we are diving deep into the absolute inferno that is currently engulfing the Indiana Fever organization. Fans are not just angry anymore, they are organizing. They are screaming for a boycott. They are demanding immediate, sweeping leadership changes from the very top of the Pacers sports ownership group down to the coaching staff. And when you look at the raw, undeniable evidence of what head coach Stephanie White is doing to Caitlin Clark, you will understand exactly why the fan base is ready to burn the entire system to the ground. If you thought the tactical coaching errors were the biggest problem in Indianapolis, you are only seeing the absolute tip of the iceberg. What we are witnessing is a blatant, unapologetic, and highly public campaign of disrespect and marginalization directed at the single most important, culturally significant player in the history of the league.
Some reason. Now, essentially the same question about Kelsey Mitchell.
Start, I guess, with Kelsey Mitchell and what she did to Grammy is something else.
I mean, it's speechless, really. She was, 0 for 7 in the first half and 4 points, and just put us on her back. Made big shot after big shot, big play after big play. She didn't settle, she stayed aggressive.
Let us start with the post-game press conference. This is the smoking gun. This is the moment that completely exposed the agenda operating behind the scenes. Caitlin Clark had just put on one of the most heroic, desperate, and statistically mind-bending fourth-quarter performances we have ever seen. She hit 5 three-pointers in the final frame alone. She scored 17 points in 9 minutes to drag a completely lifeless, poorly coached roster back from the dead and force the game into overtime. It was a masterpiece of sheer will and generational talent. A reporter naturally, and rightfully, asked head coach Stephanie White to comment on Caitlin Clark's incredible resilience and her historic fourth-quarter explosion. In any normal professional basketball environment, the head coach takes that opportunity to praise their superstar. They say, "She is a generational talent. She put us on her back. She refused to let us lose." But what did Stephanie White say? She looked at the microphone and said, "I thought our whole group showed resilience. You know, we showed the ability to make tough shots offensively and defensively. We just have to have more of it consistently." Let those words sink in. Let the absolute sheer disrespect of that statement wash over you. Caitlin Clark goes absolutely nuclear, hits 5 deep threes, completely takes over the game while her teammates are struggling to even get a shot off, and the head coach instantly deflects the praise to the whole group. She physically could not bring herself to give Caitlin Clark individual credit. She could not force the words out of her mouth. She generalized the greatest individual quarter of the season to ensure that Clark did not get the spotlight. But wait, it gets infinitely, exponentially worse. Because minutes later, in that exact same press conference, a reporter asked Stephanie White about Kelsey Mitchell's performance.
Something else.
It's speechless, really. She was, 0 for 7 in the first half and 4 points, and just put us on her back. Made big shot after big shot, big play after big play. She didn't settle, she stayed aggressive, and she willed us.
Start, I guess,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The difference.
Let me remind you, Kelsey Mitchell started the game 0 for 7 from the floor in the first half. She had 4 points. She was highly inefficient early on. But when asked about Mitchell, Stephanie White's entire demeanor changed. The deflection vanished, the generalizations disappeared. Stephanie White looked at the media and said, "I'm speechless, really." She was 0 for 7 in the first half and just put us on her back. Made big shot after big shot, big play after big play. She didn't settle, she stayed aggressive, and she willed us. Put us on her back. Willed us. The contrast is absolutely jaw-dropping. It is a public relations disaster. It is a massive, flashing neon sign pointing directly to the deep-rooted favoritism and toxic internal politics destroying this locker room. When Caitlin Clark drops 17 points in 9 minutes to save the team, it's group resilience. When Kelsey Mitchell hits a few shots after starting 0 for 7, the coach is speechless and claims Mitchell put the team on her back. You cannot operate a professional sports franchise with this level of blatant bias. You cannot treat your billion-dollar franchise savior like a nuisance while actively glazing a veteran who routinely shoots the team out of games with terrible tunnel vision. The fans see it, the analysts see it, and they are completely, unapologetically furious. But the press conference is only the verbal evidence. If you want the physical, undeniable proof of this double standard, you have to look at the sideline body language. Because as the famous saying goes, body language never whispers, it screams.
Let's move on though, chat. CC takeover in full effect when the whole world was counting on her and she delivered. Look at this right here. Oh my gosh, she 22. Game time shot. And is Stephanie White celebrating? Is Stephanie White screaming, clapping her hands? No. And you're going to be like, Venom, don't worry. Stephanie White is locked in. All right, well, let's see when Kelsey Mitchell scores then. But anyways, there was nothing or nobody that could stop Caitlin Clark. So see, off ball with no...
Okay. What he's saying is Stephanie White act like nothing happened at all.
Thanks to incredible investigative work by content creators like Venom Reacts, we now have side-by-side footage of Stephanie White's reactions during the most critical moments of the game. Let us look at the first clip. The game is on the line. The pressure is absolutely suffocating. Caitlin Clark has the basketball. She executes a flawless, impossible move, pulls up from deep, and drains a massive, game-tying shot to send the contest into overtime. The arena erupts. The internet explodes. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated basketball magic. And what is Stephanie White doing on the sideline? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. She is completely blank. She acts as if someone just hit a routine free throw in a preseason scrimmage. There is no celebration, there is no clapping, there is no emotional release. She is a statue. People will try to defend her by saying, "Oh, she is just locked in. She is a serious coach focusing on the next play." Okay, let us test that theory. Let us look at the second clip.
3. Now, Kelsey Mitchell.
Screens again as Kelsey dribble Mitchell with a nasty ankle breaker, I cannot lie. As Stephanie White applauds and screams in excitement. So Caitlin Clark hitting a game-tying shot to send it to overtime didn't warrant that response for Stephanie White. But Kelsey Mitchell, and the move was nice right here. Also, oh my God. Look at Stephanie White. Oh my God, look at the emotion from this coach right here. Holy, she's like, yeah, Kelsey, she almost had...
Kelsey Mitchell has the basketball. She hits the defender with a nice crossover, an ankle breaker move, and hits a shot. It is a good basketball play, but look at the sideline. Look at Stephanie White. She completely loses her mind. She is screaming, she is clapping her hands aggressively. She is literally stepping onto the basketball court, overflowing with raw, unfiltered emotion, cheering for Kelsey Mitchell as if Mitchell just won the WNBA championship on a buzzer beater. Make it make sense. Make the hypocrisy make sense. You are a head coach. You stand completely motionless and benign when your franchise player hits a historic shot to save your job, but you practically storm the court in celebration when your favorite veteran hits a standard crossover jumper. This is not coaching. This is an agenda. This is a head coach who has made a conscious, deliberate decision about who she wants the face of this franchise to be, and she is actively resisting the reality that the entire world disagrees with her. She is trying to build a system around Kelsey Mitchell, and she treats Caitlin Clark like an unwanted disruption to her master plan. And this toxic agenda is bleeding into every single aspect of the Indiana Fever organization, right down to their social media department. Have you noticed the profound, highly suspicious silence on the Fever's official social media accounts over the past few days? Caitlin Clark is the most famous, highly marketable, globally recognized women's basketball player on the face of the earth. She drives millions of impressions with a single photograph, and yet the official Indiana Fever accounts went a full 48 hours without posting her. Instead, they are posting videos of other players playing with puppies. They are heavily, aggressively pushing Kelsey Mitchell promotional content. They are actively suppressing the marketing of their own golden goose in a desperate, pathetic attempt to artificially manufacture star power for the veterans who simply do not move the economic needle. This is a masterclass in how to destroy a billion-dollar brand. And what is the ultimate tragic irony in all of this? The primary justification for hiring Stephanie White in the first place was her supposed status as a defensive guru. She was brought in to fix the defensive culture. She was brought in to establish grit and toughness. Well, let us look at the defensive results from this alleged guru. In this exact same game, while White was busy ignoring Caitlin Clark and cheering for Kelsey Mitchell, the Washington Mystics completely dismantled her defensive schemes. Sonia Citron exploded for 30 points, a career high. Kiki Iriefan dominated the paint for 25 points, a career high.
Kiki Iriefan, Citron, 30 points, career high. Kiki Iriefan, 25 points, career high. 10 of 14, 11 of 17. Congratulations, Stephanie White, the defensive guru to end all defensive gurus in the WNBA. You had two players go for career highs against you. Wow. Wow. And guys, we're going to get to Stephanie White and her statement from the press conference last night. Some statements she made about...
Congratulations to the ultimate defensive guru of the WNBA. You just allowed two opposing players to drop absolute career highs on your home floor while giving up over 100 points in back-to-back overtime losses. You allowed 58 points in the paint because your rotations are fundamentally broken and your roster lacks a true center. Your defensive system is a complete, unmitigated disaster, and your offensive system consists entirely of hoping Caitlin Clark bails you out in the fourth quarter. The fans are not blind. The Fever fan base is one of the most intelligent, highly engaged fan bases in all of professional sports. They watched the struggles of last year. They watched the Christy Sides era. And many of them are now openly admitting that as flawed as Christy Sides was, she at least eventually figured out that the entire offense needed to run exclusively through Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White is taking this franchise backward, and the fans are screaming for the Pacers Sports and Entertainment Ownership Group to step in immediately. This is a business, a multi-billion-dollar sports entertainment business. And in the business of professional sports, when a manager or a head coach actively alienates the primary revenue driver, that coach gets fired. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies in Major League Baseball. They fired their manager after a 9-19 start because the expectations were World Series level and the leadership was failing. Look at Paul Westhead in the NBA. He won an actual NBA championship with the Lakers, and a little over a year later, he was fired because his system clashed with Magic Johnson. The Indiana Fever ownership cannot sit back and allow a head coach to play high school favorites while the most valuable asset in the history of the league is being marginalized and mistreated. If Caitlin Clark does not go completely bonkers in the fourth quarter, the Fever get blown out by 20 points at home. And when it came down to the final, deciding shot of the game, who did Stephanie White draw the play up for? She had Kelsey Mitchell take the last shot. Caitlin Clark had just torched the Washington defense for 17 points in 9 minutes. She was the hottest shooter on the planet. She was in the zone, and the head coach deliberately chose to put the ball in Kelsey Mitchell's hands for the final shot. That decision alone is basketball felony criminal. It is fireable on the spot. It proves that Stephanie White's ego and her loyalty to Mitchell completely overshadow her desire to actually win basketball games. The local Indianapolis sports media needs to wake up. They need to take the kid gloves off. If this were an NFL team or an NBA team, the local reporters would be absolutely destroying the head coach for this level of incompetence and blatant favoritism. The media needs to start asking the incredibly hard questions, and they need to hold Stephanie White accountable for the cultural rot she is allowing to spread. This franchise is at a tipping point. The boycotts are trending. The hashtags are going viral. The fans are refusing to spend their hard-earned money to watch a head coach sabotage a generational talent. If the ownership group does not intervene, if they do not sit Stephanie White down and demand that the entire system be recentered around Caitlin Clark, this season is going to end in a catastrophic failure. You cannot have a coach who yanks her star player out of the game the moment she gets hot. You cannot have a coach who refuses to praise her point guard's historic performance while glazing a veteran who shoots 0 for 7. You cannot have a coach who claims to be a defensive genius while giving up career highs to the entire opposing roster. The Stephanie White experiment is officially a disaster, and the entire basketball world is watching to see if the Indiana Fever have the courage to fix it or the arrogance to let it burn. What do you think about the incredible double standard Stephanie White showed in the press conference? Is the undeniable video evidence of her sideline reactions enough to prove she is playing favorites, and is it officially time for the ownership group to step in and make a massive leadership change? Drop your most explosive, unfiltered take in the comments below. We read every single one. If you want the absolute raw truth about the deep-rooted drama, the business, and the politics of the WNBA that the mainstream media is too terrified to talk about, you are in the exact right place. Smash that subscribe button right now. Destroy the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive breakdown. The revolution in Indiana is just getting started, and the truth will not be silenced. This is WNBA Pro. We will see you in the next video.